In our dreams, we are certain that what we see is real. Yet when we awake, we know that what we took to be an unquestionable fact was in fact illusion. So what proof can theology or philosophy give us to guarantee that our senses aren't also deceiving us?
Despite all the knowledge I had acquired, I still couldn't resolve this simple and fundamental problem. A battle was raging between my heart and my head, and I eventually became physically ill. It was a bewildering time. The sickness lasted nearly 2 months, during which time I was, practically speaking, a skeptic, though not in principle or in outward expression.
Ghazali did not begin by forcing doubt upon himself. That is, he began to question himself, now what certitude do I have about this matter, about this religious right, about this moral injunction? And he didn't on purpose strip himself of all certitude in order to get to complete doubt and then see what happens. It wasn't like that. It was that doubt having come into his mind, he began then to question the pseudo-certitudes. He knew that he had to undo himself. He had to reconstitute his being. He had to undergo spiritual transformation. Words would not do. And he had to change his life, his way of thinking. I was willing to sacrifice everything for the sake of certitude.
At length, God healed me. I found myself restored to health and balance. Once more, I was able to accept the necessary truths of the intellect as I regained confidence in their certain and reliable character. This did not come about by systematic demonstration or ordered argument, but by a light that God Most High cast into my breast. That light is the key to the greater part of knowledge.
Ghazali was able and willing to give something up in order to receive illumination. Ordinary soul does not receive illumination. You receive illumination only if you are open your heart to God, which means dying to yourself and dying to the world about you, and that's what Ghazali did.
It was only through divine grace that Ghazali overcame his bout of skepticism, and we too must be open to the possibility of receiving a light of guidance. But with such darkness and confusion confronting us today, is it any wonder that it can be hard to see a way forward? Was the situation any different in Ghazali's lifetime?
At the time of Imam al-Ghazali, authority was being questioned. Who has ultimate authority? The religious people did not recognize the secular authority, and these religious fanatics begin to kill those who they deem as obstacles in their path to achieving some type of religious sovereignty. In his time, confusion was reigning. Confusion was everywhere. And I think most of us would agree in the modern world that we are living in very confusing times, difficult times, times that everything is being questioned, and nobody really can see a clear light. And I think that he was in these times, and that's why he's so extraordinary.
The political situation in Ghazali's time was in many ways fragile, certainly very complicated. There was a caliph in Baghdad who was a titular ruler of the Sunni Islamic world. Real political power is in the hands of the Seljuks, viziers, of whom Nizam al-Mulk was probably the best known example. And it fell to the Seljuks to try and figure out what sort of Islam the state should be patronizing.
آن کس که کلمه لا اله الا الله و عیسی رسول الله را از نصرانی میشنود و آن را چون گوینده آن نصرانی است باور نمی‌دارد و رد می‌کند کوتاه نظر است. اما خطر رد خطری است بسیار بزرگ که از ناحیه کمخردان برمی‌خیزد. اینان چنین می‌پندارند که چون کلمات حق در کتب فلاسفه نوشته شده و با کلام آنان درآمیخته شایسته رد و سزاوار طرد است. سخنان ایشان را هرچه و از هر که بشنوند چون سابقه معرفت حق در ایشان نیست رد می کنند و با این پندار همه آن سخنان را به خرد نارسای خیش خطا و باطل می انگارند.
آن کس که نبوت را نپذیرد یقینا کافر است.
حق با ایشان است.
هر کس اصول دین را نپذیرد کافر است.
اگر به این اعتبار کافر است مخالفت با گفته های حق او که به واقع هم حق است روا نخواهد بود.
یعنی دانش شما به حدی رسیده است که روی حرف علما حرف میزنید؟
Ghazali repeatedly makes the point that one of the main veils that keeps people from seeing God is religious fanaticism. He says it doesn't matter too much which school of Islamic law you follow. There are different theological positions that it's valid to adopt. Try and be orthodox. In fact, it's necessary to be orthodox, but whatever you do, don't turn into some kind of zealot so that religion just becomes a way of feeling that you're better than everybody else and thereby veils you from God.
مسلمان نادان خطرناکتر از کافر است. رویه نابخردان است که حق را به اشخاص میشناسند نه اشخاص را به حق.
Many have seen Nizam al-Mulk as a kind of Machiavellian figure, patronizing certain forms of religion that he saw as being politically expedient. Certainly his politician's eye seems to have spotted in Ghazali an individual whose program could bring stability and unity to what was at the time a very fractured Islamic social and intellectual reality.